And we're live, ladies and gentlemen, boys
yeah,
and
y'all.
girls, children of all ages. Welcome to a show about shows. That's Josh McAllister. He's obviously lost his mind. I'm JDO. I lost mine a long time ago, and this is episode 79. Just keep climbing. Why did you name it that?
I just think that's what we do here. No matter what adversity comes in our way, we keep climbing through it, and we keep just sacrificing ourselves over and over. So the big 100th episode, I could retire.
Here's a question for you. You know those things where like they save you via a helicopter and they throw down the little tiny ladder, like the ladders that have like this wide.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, I think I'd be dead still. Like I don't think I can hold on.
What you do? You hook your arm, sir. You hook your arm.
You gotta get into the helicopter, don't you?
Well, you just hope that you get to another area where they can. Yeah, they can. Haven't you watched some movies where they just hover for forever over the what do you call it, the water and whatever, as long as you're not in a mountainous range, I think you'll be fine. Right. So what made you think about that?
Oh, I've always just thought it always looked very rickety and like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have the upper body strength to do that shit.
Besides ladder talk here, we're gonna talk some kitty cat movies, some homeless people, some murderers, and Gerard Butler. TV shows.
A Scottishman.
We're going back to when I was saying goodbye to high school, the year of 2008, and talking about our top 10 2008 films. There's some good ones. When we just kind of came up with a year randomly, but I'm excited to talk about it. I think all these films, I'm a fan. So.
Yeah, I didn't find that hard to put it together. Like I said, before we came on air, I did have one that could have made it, but we're not going to discuss that because it didn't make it. So let's not worry about it.
All right, so who wants to kick off the first movie review? We're talking A Kitty and a Mouse.
Well, I will kick that one off, sir, if that's all right with you, because it's over. Okay, I don't know what to do. I'm 79 episodes in. I'm too deep. I'm emotionally wrecked. Thank you. I hope that my friends at BAFTA will, no. Anyway. Okay, AFTRA. I'm sorry, I forgot that. That's the other one. Anyway, the next one, the film we're going to talk about basically is over on HBO Max, also a theater near you, which actually did pretty well at the box office. I hope you bring that up later on. Tom and Jerry, the movie. A legendary rivalry reemerges when Jerry moves into New York City's finest hotel on the eve of the wedding of the century, forcing the desperate event planner to hire Tom to get rid of him. As mayhem ensues, the escalating cat and mouse battle soon threatens to destroy her career, the wedding, and possibly the hotel itself. This has Chloe Grace I'm going to mess her name up always. Chloe Grace, what is it? Help me out. Moretz?
Look, there you go.
Moretz. Okay, I don't know why. Oh, that one always throws me. Colin Jost, Michael Pena, Pallavi Sharda, Kim Jong, and Rob Delaney rang out this deal. Jordan, you watched this, did you not? I noticed that you did finally get off. You said you weren't going to watch it, but you caved. I want to hear your review.
Not only did I cave, my friend, I caved because my niece wanted to go to the theater, so I saw this in the theater.
Oh, what? Tell me about this in a theater. Tell me, because I want to say what it was like at home.
I actually want you to go first, because I want to know if I'm going to be the curmudgeon here or not, because I did not like it. I want to hear your review, but I'll go first. Fine, I'll be nice. I had very high hopes for this film. I really did. I thought, well, I love Tom and Jerry. I forgave them from the 1990, I think, Ford disaster Tom and Jerry the movie where they actually had voices, which was the drizzling. Well, we know what the drizzlings are, but yes, it was awful. But this one. To me, it was very disappointing due to the fact we didn't get a lot of Tom and Jerry. We got more people and with a smattering of Jerry and Tom. Also, I found the characterization, and I know this sounds very bad when I say this, the characterization of Jerry to be very, very. I didn't realize he was such an asshole, and I'm just going to say that for everybody out there. I didn't like him. He made, they made a heel out of him, and they made him one that I could never say I could redeem him.
And you're not on Facebook because you despise it, but my Facebook post this week was Jerry's kind of a dick.
he is, and I hate that. So Tom is the victim right away as we see this film start, and Jerry is just an opportunistic, smug little piece of the garbage, And I just can't. I could never get around the idea. No wonder why Tom wanted to kill him throughout the whole show, because the reason why Tom is basically homeless is because of Jerry. He lost everything because of Jerry at the beginning of the film. So everything that this rivalry has, there's no rivalry. It's just basically a blood feud. I would like to say it's a blood feud. There's no rivalry in this. They want death. Colin Jost and Pallavi Shadar, they're the couple coming in, big Instagram couple, gonna get married at this place we'll call like the Plaza Hotel, and in New York City. It's the biggest event ever, and this couple, not even they, even Colin Jost could not save this. Michael Pena did the best he could with his part, but I thought the one who kind of made me chuckle was Rob Delaney. He always has, he underplayed it where everyone else was overplaying it. To me, I thought he kind of was like, I'm going to just play this like a normal human while everyone else is going over the top. And it's a shame because I think Chloe, is a great actress. Is just a very bad agent at this point for her. She needs to get some of these, I guess, get it on, basically. But yeah, all in all, I was not pleased with it, but I can see how a kid would like this film a lot.
Well, I'll talk about that actually here in a second, personally. Yeah, I didn't like this from the get-go. I'm going to start my review off different from you. I'm not a big Tom and Jerry fan. I was not had any expectations for this movie. I don't think they fit a 2-hour movie. This thing felt super long, and it's not. It's about an hour 40, but it felt long because it's one of those exaggerated movies, and I didn't care about the couple. I don't think Jost was very good in this. They chose the guy that acts the least in SNL to be trying to hold a little bit of a dramatic moment in the movie, and it fails partly because you just don't care whether or not they make it to the altar.
Pretty much.
Jerry. Yeah, Jerry's a jerk. Tom's not that much better either. Tom's faking blind in his first scene, their second scene, which is kind of.
Well, everyone's seen a cat play a piano.
That's odd. Chloe Grace Moretz fools a lady out of the job. She's kind of a con artist. I don't like anyone in this movie. Michael Pena, I guess he did, like you said, he did what he could with the script, but that's not very good. Delaney probably does come off the best here because he just kind of is kind of charming in a different way. So yeah, I don't like it. And like you said, it's more about the humans, and that actually bored my niece particularly. She was bored for sections of this, and she said it out loud, very loud in a movie theater. I'm bored, and we're like, lower your voice. My other niece, I think, liked it a little bit more than she did. Although I think my first niece forgot later on. She's like, yeah, I liked it. I'm like, you were bored at one point. So she forgives, but I don't. I didn't laugh. I think I chuckled once about 45 minutes in, maybe chuckled 20 minutes later, and then that was about it for me. I just don't think it's funny. When you do have Tom and Jerry, it's not very clever. It's just them smacking the shit out of each other like Itchy and Scratchy, but less violent and fun. There just wasn't much to this, man. I mean, this makes me yearn for the years of Scoob and Addams Family. I mean, this makes me, like at least there was something going on in that and jokes.
Yeah, you know who we actually forgot about that. Kim Jong was in this, but what was he in here for?
Kim or Ken?
Kim Jong is what I meant.
Ken, buddy.
Ken. I don't know. Either way, why was he even there?
One of those guys, they probably figured there'd be more to it. There's another shoehorned love story in from the get-go, and I never cared about that ever between her and the bartender. Like you said, Ken Jeong's there because they figure, hopefully on a poster, because he's on some of the posters even.
I just don't like his character is just irrelevant. I mean, he pops in, pops out. You know,
you can 100% cut him, and no one will notice.
Yeah, because we kind of forgot about him here in this review.
There's not much to talk about. Like you just pointed out,
that's
there's really not much to say. Like, we've listed him because he's a known actor, in the beginning of it, in the premise. But other than that, his character doesn't really have much impact. It's just chef and let's get a funny character who's probably not character actor is not too expensive.
Yeah, pretty much, because we all know he's over there doing that Masked Singer thing over on Fox.
Yeah, he's on this show next week, so he's affordable.
He's very affordable. He just happens to wander around going, "Hey, anybody want to put me in something?" So, I hate to say that about him, but I think he's a gifted comedic actor. But
I like him a lot. I mean, given the right sitcom or movie role, we've seen it obviously in many times. Hangover,
absolutely.
And so forth, but
so here's the meat and potatoes. What are you gonna rate it? I'll tell you what I do it after you.
At 1.5. I can't even struggle to get to 2. There's just not almost anything here I think with that redeemable. It's fine if you want to put it on for a 6-year-old to pass 2 hours, but you have so many better options that are just as vibrant with something better. Hell, I'll take Trolls over this.
I'm going to be a little bit more soft with it. There wasn't a lot. The one thing that got me though was the elephant scene. I like that scene. Don't ask me why, but I did. So that might have helped me a little bit with forgiveness, a little with some of the scene. And I like Spike, the dog. That was fun. Yeah. But I'm going to give this a 2.5. I'm a little bit more generous this week.
Oh, your review doesn't match 2.5.
No, it is 2.5. It's very generous. Like I said, I may not particularly like it, but I can see the world around me liking it better.
Well, you can be honest with yourself.
I'm being honest with myself as well. I think if I watched it again, I could probably find something better out of it. So I probably will watch it again. 2.5 though is what I'm standing by for a film as a whole.
No, I don't think I'll be watching it again. Actually, that's actually kind of not true. I did later on that night have it in the background because I felt 20 minutes. So I had to go back and watch those just in case I missed anything. Next movie I have not seen, but it's getting a lot of buzz, if you will. So I want to see what you think, my man. It's Nomadland, a woman in her 60s who, after losing everything in the Great Recession, embarks on a journey through the American West, living as a van down by the river. Sorry.
That's what I always thought about too when I was listening, when I was reading it.
Van-dwelling modern-day nomad. This stars Frances McDormand, someone named simply Swanky.
Yep.
And Bob Wells. Talk to me about Frances and this movie.
Well, okay, let me just tell you, if you love Frances McDormand brushing her teeth, walking around, reading a book, cutting her hair, taking a shit in a bucket, going naked, all the way naked, and floating down a river, this is your movie. Let me tell you that. It has, it's a lot of buzz around this film. Everyone thinks it's fantastic. Everyone loves it. I am not that man. I can tell you, I was kind of shocked when I watched it. It just is a slow plotting 2-hour plus movie, in which, yes, it's an interesting take on this life. This is an actual life that does happen. Swanky was an actual individual who died during filming. Bob Wells is also a man who leads this nomad type life and helps people guide themselves through this. So they do have actual people who were on the trail that she's portraying, and it also sheds light on some other things like Las Vegas, or in Vegas, where she's from a town called Empire. I looked this up. It's an actual fact. There was a mining town. The mining company went under, and everyone who was there in that town, almost like 800, 900 people or something like that, all got let go of their jobs. The whole town basically doesn't exist anymore. There's probably about a couple hundred people left, if that, but it's not, so the impact of the recession did happen, like they say. I really tried to care for McDormand's character in this. She does have a good backstory, but I don't. There's moments in this film where I'm like, don't really care for you, and that's a shame. You know, when you're supposed to feel a little something for her. She does get odd jobs, you know, because that's what you do when you're in the nomadic life. You're going from town to town, living. You know, going to working for Amazon in one scene. She's working at these campgrounds on another, where she meets other people, and then she hooks up with other people who give her another, you know, whoever give her a chance in this other spot where she's working in a donuts store as well. Um, all in all, though, it to me it just didn't live up to the hype. Uh, for Best Picture, Best Actress, you know, or even Best Director. I hate to say that she just won a Golden Globe, and I feel bad. And she did put you know, the director did write this, produce it, and directed it, and I feel bad. I'm going to have to give it such a low rating for such a well received film, and I'm giving it 2 stars. I mean, I 2 snowflakes. I don't see anything about that. Yes, Tom and Jerry beats this movie. That was a shame. And to me, I thought this movie plotted. It just ran, and I didn't feel anything for this film. I wanted to. Don't get me wrong. I felt bad when I put it down. I was like, maybe I gotta watch it again, but I can't sit through 2 hours of that movie. I think you could have made it an hour and 30, and I still would have got the same exact thing. And because there's a lot of scenes where she just walks. Okay, that helps. So there you go. But that's my review.
I'm not going to argue you. It's the trepidation I have for this kind of film, that it's going to be that slice of life, nothing happens movie. For instance, my former guest on the show, Don Mega, I know he right away was like, I'm never watching this, because it is definitely the epitome of what movie that he does not like. And your review definitely ensures that he'll never see this movie. And yeah, that's my fear. Is that, you know, is it great, or is it just, you know, a slower movie that people applaud because of that? So I'm trepidatious. If she does get nominated, which I think is probably likely, I will see, just because I'm a sucker for Oscar nominated movies. So we'll see. You know, it's not one I'm rushing towards though.
Yeah, I would have watched it if it wasn't on Hulu. So it's on Hulu.
Oh, I forgot. Well, that's good. Like, that does help me that I don't have to spend much money on it. I am afraid, though, that we're not going to get accepted to Rotten Tomatoes, because I think we're the only show this week where Tom and Jerry got a higher rating than Nomadland. Only show. Show me another show, please.
You know, and it felt real. I felt bad when I did that. I looked at it and I said, I really can't believe I'm doing this, and I felt real bad. I mean, really, I felt bad because it was so much hard work that went into probably making that film. It's a beautifully done film. I mean, just by scenery, because they're out there in Arizona and you know, the Pacific Northwest. And
Don Mega could have been in the movie. Maybe he was in the movie.
if he was in a campground somewhere, they might have got him. You never know. So. But yeah, I felt bad. Like I said, when I looked at it the other night, I was like, I can't believe I actually put that down as a 2, and I gave Tom and Jerry a better rating.
Just made them both a 2. Call it a 2-star week for you.
Well, you know what? We're gonna keep on traveling, and we're gonna go down a Wrong Turn, because Wrong Turn is our next film. And that is Jen and a group of friends set out to hike the Appalachian Trail. Despite warnings to stick to the trail, the hikers stray off course and cross into a land inhabited by the Foundation, a hidden community of mountain dwellers who use deadly means to protect their way of life. This has Charlotte Vega, Matthew Modine, Bill Sage, Aidan Bradley, and Emma Dumont. You watched this. I am not a very big horror fan, and The Wrong Way wasn't my very choice to watch a movie. What is going on in this film?
Wrong Way is also not the name of the movie, so that's fine. Don't watch Wrong Way. Wrong Turn, though.
Wrong Turn, yeah.
It might be the surprise of the week. Well, it is the surprise of the week because I hated Tom and Jerry. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked this movie. Dutch, this is the seventh movie already, in the Wrong Turn. Almost from 2003 as well. They're only a few numbers off from Freddie and Jason, but they've been cranking these out with direct-to-DVD sequels since 2003, and I haven't liked a single one of them. I've seen about half of them. They don't entice me to see the other half that I haven't seen. They always they were very much the definition of characters you don't care about, maybe dying in maybe kind of cool or boring ways, and then especially from 2 and on, it's all direct to DVD, so it's also usually a relatively cheap way as well. This though went a different way. It truly is like, it's not called Wrong Turn 7, and they went the Halloween route of it's just Wrong Turn again, and they actually truly did do something different. This, unlike the last Jason movie that was just supposedly a reboot, but it wasn't the same old. They really did find a different way to attack this, and there's multiple all throughout it. One of the things is that I can kind of give away, because it starts off the movie, Matthew Modine, who's quite good in it. It shows the aftermath of him. Oh, that's right. Whatever happens to all these characters that die? Does no one go searching for him? So it's him searching for his daughter. That's kind of a cool way to attack it. But and they go back and forth between him trying to find her and no one's really helping him, and then what actually maybe happened to her. So that's a fun little vantage point. And then the other stuff I can't give away without spoiling it, but I thought it was a lot more unique. It kept me a lot more engaged than I thought I would. I turned it on just because I like horror, and I was ready to give this a 1, maybe 2 stars, but I liked it a decent amount more. And even the end credit shot, I was so ready to go, oh, the ending ruined it for me. The ending was awesome. I think it's one of the best closing moments that I've seen in a while, up to the very end credit. I dug it. It's still not exactly perfect. I don't want to overrate it. It almost sounds like I'm about to give out 5. It's 3.5, but it's still a lot more than I was going to give this movie. You know what I mean? It's still definitely, I think, worth checking out for horror fans here. If you ever want, I can tell you a little bit more off screen about it. I really liked it. Wrong Turn. Check it out. A surprise. It's written by the guy that wrote the first one. He hasn't written any of them since the first one, but he actually did have a different take on it now, and I really enjoyed it. 3.5 for Wrong Turn.
Well, what's great about that, though, you did say this. What happens to all the victims' families? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of horror films out there who just keep killing people, and there's no after. I mean, there's no support group for these guys. So wouldn't that be a nice little horror film where they're all support groups for, I went to Camp Crystal Lake and I lost my daughter, and then so and so went to.
That was a fun little way in. Modine is pretty good. And. A fun little interaction between him and the town people, and and who's maybe in on it, who's maybe not in on what's going on, and like I said, and there's even more to it too that I really can't get into. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting take. I like that.
So we're talking now. That's all I saw this week. That was my new one. That was our movies for the week here. Wrap it up. Tom and Jerry. He gave it 2.5. I give it 1.
I got one. More. We have one more. Don't you? You hate this movie so much you forgot it again. You read about it. Now you're forced to read it now, All
right. This movie, I love how there's our other movies all have these intricate plots. Even Tom and Jerry, it takes like 6 lines. This thing has 1 line of plot.
I boiled it down. You should have seen the paragraph.
Struggles for survival in the face of a cataclysmic natural disaster. This has our boy Gerard Butler, Miranda Baccarin, Scott Glenn, Roger Dale Floyd, and David Denham. Hey, I like him. Talk to me about Greenland. And I legitimately, by the way, forgot. I wasn't even doing that as a joke.
You hate Gerard, and you know it, buddy. Let me tell you. I'll be honest. But hey, what's great about this film? Gerard got to play the first time that I've seen in a movie in a long time where he came from. He was a Scotsman, and he played a Scotsman. That's the kind of role he needs to start playing more often. But, I'll be honest, this is probably one of his best roles in a long time. Den of Thieves, I like that one as well. But this one, for a natural disaster film, it gave a lot more sensitivity. It gave a little bit more power. He wasn't like the guy who's, all he is an architect. He builds buildings for a living. That's all he does. And he gets a call while he's preparing for his son's birthday. He gets a call from the natural disaster deal or something like that. I don't know, the president's warning. And he gets a call saying, you and your family have been selected to go and be secure. So only you guys, you have to pack one bag each, and then you're gone. And then we'll whisk you away. This happens again while they're sitting there watching in the family room. By the way, Tampa gets obliterated. By the way, in the first 2 minutes of this disaster. But so Gerard is sitting there. He has to leave his neighbors behind. He's got to go, and so then that's where everything happens. They get to the base. Turns out his son's diabetic, and he should never have been accepted. The family should never have been accepted. That's what they're saying. So they have to either leave the son and get on the plane or stay behind. And so this is the choice, and it is a heart-wrenching time, between the mother and the son and Gerard Butler. And then they get split up due to some calamity at the base by people in going after it. Then Gerard split up from his family. This is where your boy comes in, the one that you love. And the reason why I put him in here, David Denman, who is a creepy little bastard in this film. He picks up the mom and the son and says, "Yeah, I'll take you to where you need to go, to Knoxville, where you're, or Lexington, Kentucky, or whatever it is, where your dad lives." He goes in. He basically beats the hell out of the mom, and then, tries to steal their identity just so they can get into the plane. And so there's another intriguing part where the mom is now separated from her son, and she's got to figure a way to get to her son. And it's just a bunch of luck, basically, as we know. And then the family gets back together, and they have to make their pilgrimage to it. But it's a lot of stress along the way for poor Gerard. Gets his butt handed to him a few times. He finds out that there is a route from Canada to Greenland. That's where everyone's being put. That's why the name of the show is what it is. Everyone is being flown to Greenland, and he knows of an airfield in Canada through we find out on one of his journeys. Then we meet his parent, the dad, and we find out a lot of things. But their marriage wasn't solid to begin with. But this journey of peril and had made him learn to forgive and forget of the one calamity that he chose in the past. Chose to go someone else during their rocky relationship. And so, it's a story of redemption. Also, I tell you this, brother, I cried. I teared up. I really did. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm tearing up. Because it was there's some scenes where it's just pure emotion. And I've never done that in a Gerard Butler film. So to me, this is the Gerard Butler, not Geostorm. You don't need to watch Geostorm, but you could watch this one and get the true Gerard Butler performance that you've been deserving and wanting for a long time. I give this 3.5. It's just a good film. And like I said, it could have been 4, but again, it's that coincidental journey where people somehow get together. If you're in Atlanta and you're separated and you're over here and you're going this way, there's no way you're going to meet up sometimes. It just doesn't seem like you can. But other than that, 3.5 is what I give it. Greenland with Gerard Butler. Very good film. I enjoyed it.
Very nice. You know what? Your review did push me more. I was afraid it was just going to be nothing but, disaster and the looks of that. You know what I mean? But there's actually some character and whatnot in it. Yeah. This is something I might check out.
Yeah, and like I said, I look at the asteroids as secondary as a character, meaning it's just we know it's coming, we know things are happening, but like you said, the family dynamic and the people they meet along the way help push this forward. So it's well done. Well done.
So what I was trying to do before is I've been watching a lot of Siskel and Ebert. They always like to wrap it up at the end of it. So I like to just some review wrap up here. Tom and Jerry, you liked it a little bit more than me, 2.5 versus my 1.5. Nomadland, you could not get on board with. 2 stars from you. And then the surprises of the week, Wrong Turn and Greenland. We both only saw 1 each. 3.5 though from us. So we do recommend Wrong Turn and Greenland. Check that out, VOD, wherever you can find those films.
Absolutely. What's coming up next is our regular television stop. We got a few good shows. We're revisiting a few others. The first one that I have on the list.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Harrow is the name, sir. Not hello, Harrow. Yes, Harrow. Harrow is an Australian-based show. It is, if you know him, I can't ever say his name to save my life. If you want to give it a shot, go right ahead. But Harrow is a forensic expert down there in the Down Under, in which every week is a mystery he wishes to solve. He's like Quincy, but with more of an edge. Well, I'm sorry, I dated myself as a kid. I used to watch his syndication, Jack Klugman as Quincy. But yeah, it's he is basically he's think of him as a cold case. He's a solver of cases from the dead person they had. Like the last episode I watched was a vampire episode, which was very interesting. We're on season 3 right now, but if you watch season 1, you're gonna be hooked right away because it plays on what kind of person he can become, and so you go through it and you actually don't mind what you see of this guy, all the scars and all. So as you go through this film, this show, this journey, the characters grow, they're flushed out more. This season 3 so far, I'm like, I think partial through because we're actually one up. Every time they show it in Australia, the next day it gets put on Hulu. So basically, you're climbing along with them during this season. And I discovered it was back on when I had a conversation with you one night. I was like, "Oh, Arrow's back on! What? I didn't even know it. Didn't even jump in my queue." I enjoy it so much. If you get a chance on Hulu, take a gander at Harrow. It has 3 seasons. It's also done by ABC, the Australian broadcasting company. So that's pretty why it's on Hulu, because it's owned by the Disney Corporation. The next one we're going to revisit real quick is the Keenan Show, season 1, of course. You talked about it last week. I said I have to watch it. You had a different look at it. I like it. I think it's very fresh. It has a great feel to it. I love the fact that it doesn't have a laugh track. That's what I love about it. It's like it's either going to fall flat or it's not. And I just love Don Johnson's odd character. You find out that he's the grandpa. Well, you never would have thought that, by the way they set up the show right away. And as they have Chris right there, you enjoyed his performance. I enjoy him as his brother, agent, who doesn't really like the grandpa, but they kind of get together, and the kids are actually pretty good as well. I haven't found anything bad about it so far. But I enjoy this. It's kind of a good classic comedy. Instead of a multicam, it looks like a single cam type shot performance. So I enjoy that a lot. The next is you're going to talk about.
Too, by the way, I watched the second episode tonight. It's fine. I definitely, like I said before, it could grow. So yeah. I'm with it to a degree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it can grow. But the next show we're going to talk about is Walking Dead season 10. I think Maggie returns, right? Is that what the big thing was?
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest thing that grips you from this first episode back here in season 10. Is that Maggie, and don't forget, the big thing is that Negan is out and about, and he murdered Glenn, like really hardcore, murdered Glenn. So there's a little bit of tension there. They're definitely building to it. You don't really get a quick moment with them together by themselves, but they're building towards how she exactly feels about that. And then they're building up more. There's still a lot of characters here that you don't see in the first episode. You know what I mean? Michonne is completely gone and doing something else. I don't think you'll see it for several episodes, maybe even next season. But there's a lot of characters you don't see. It's more about Maggie. You do get to meet Maggie and Glenn's son, so he's cute so far. He's young.
And that's something that we didn't know, because she ran away to the mountains, right, before she gave birth.
When it was a baby, I think it was a baby, maybe. Yeah. So because she was hoping her TV show would get picked up with.
Which by the way, it should have been more than one season. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, like I said, I'm with it so far here, man. Still think there's some decent storytelling going on here. I think they have honed in a little bit more from a couple seasons ago that were kind of trailing off, and it's still, you say, a little winded from where it once was, but I'm enjoying it. I'm glad to see it back.
Okay. I don't know. I've trailed off. I'm going to have to one day binge this whole thing again. The next one we're going to talk about is what we talked about last week as well, but you get to see it this time. The Crew over there on Netflix. What is your thoughts on this one? Kevin James.
All right, I take back all the bad things I kind of sort of said about Keenan, because Keenan's a lot better than this. It's fine. It's in there with the Iglesiases and other shows that Netflix has here. You got the dumb characters, Waka Waka, and I don't know, man. I'm not really invested in anyone here. The best guy is actually him, because he's on the black guy from Who's Line. He's very funny on Who's Line and Malcolm in the Middle back in the day as the one kid's father. So I'm glad to see him in a bigger role. But yeah, I mean, I might tune in a few more, but it's not exactly something that I'm clamoring much more for. It's fine.
Yeah, I talked to somebody else about this show, and I thought they gave too much away right away. You know what I'm saying? They didn't make the characters earn it, to the point where, I'd like to see things stretched out a little bit more, the sexual tensions, if there's going to be any, or any other play like that. They could have just stretched that a little bit more instead of just giving almost a lot away at the end of the season. So that's my opinion.
Did you hear what they were going to do with season 2?
No, what are they up to?
Leah Remini is gonna come after they kill one of the female characters. So.
She's gonna take them all down.
It didn't work last time. What if?
What if she's the new female race driver? But no.
No. Man, Oswald, he's MODOK. He's busy. Oh, damn it.
Well, the one show I can't wait for hearing about is over there on the CW, the little network that could be that no one ever counted on, but is actually putting out good television. CW, Superman Lois. First episode just dropped not too long ago. What are your opinions on it, and should I actually get off and watch it?
Yes, and yes. They are putting out some decent stuff, and yeah, I really liked this first episode here. Kind of a slightly different take. It almost feels like a way better version. Remember Brightburn from a couple years ago?
Correct. Yes.
It almost like we're building towards that, because this is a version where they're a little bit older, Superman and Lois, and they got 2 kids. They got 2 boys that are twins here. Both parents are gone at this point. There's no Kents. A little bit of flashbacks here and there, but I just thought this pilot was a great pilot, great setup of learning these characters. You're kind of like you mentioned, almost the opposite of with the Crew. You do get to learn and care a little bit about these characters here, and then like there's finally one big action sequence kind of more towards the end here of setting up a villain for later. I really liked it. It was well done. I liked it more than I thought I would, because I'm behind on a lot of these CWs, but I happened to okay, I have time. Let me catch this. And the second episode aired tonight. We're filming this on Tuesday, the 2nd, and it just aired, and I'm looking forward to watching it here. Really well done story here. I enjoyed Lewis and Clark. I've been a Tyler Hoechlin fan for a while. He was a little boy in Road to Perdition. That little skinny boy is now Superman.
Oh, really? Oh, that's him.
Tom Hanks protects. Yeah, Tom Hanks protects, and he unfortunately, I think in a way, him getting buff might have hurt him, because like he hadn't done much for a while. Like he was like the boy toy in Hall Pass is the only other thing I can think of. But now he's got something juicier to sink his teeth into. Yeah, I'm enjoying what they're kind of building up here so far. Yeah, I really liked it actually. Big recommendation.
Okay, I'll check that out then. Over there on the old CW. So, we'll wrap this up real quick. We talked about horror over there on Hulu. Go get a good peek at it. The Keenan Show on NBC. Walking Dead season 10 over there on AMC, and then The Crew. We say just look at it. It's over there. It's not a rush, but it's over there on Netflix. And Superman and Lois. Jordan really wants you to go watch that show. Which, by the way, I will be downloading the CW app just for you, my friend.
Do it.
I shall. Okay, what else is next coming up, my friend?
I believe we're into that top 10, are we not?
Yes, it's that top 10 films of 2008 Yes, we did it for you, my friend. I said, let's give you, what year did you graduate? He said 2008. I said, let's do that year then. And so that's what happened. So there you go. Little scenes behind of how we think about a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Throw it a random year. Done.
Well, we had another year, but I just didn't think, I could keep talking about the same films over and over and over again.
You never get tired of talking about Joe versus the volcano. Don't lie to me.
I know. I just wanted you to say it this time. Oh, I love
cheap plug.
Yeah, cheap plug. Do you want to go first this week? I went first last week, so I want you to go first.
All right, man. I'll crack off my top 10 here. First, some honorable mentions. Ones that I really like all of these films here. So these are just right outside of the 10 bubble. Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood. Be Kind, Rewind by Michel Gondry and Jack Black, Mos Def. Doubt, one of the first times that we're like, this Viola Davis is pretty good. I wonder if she can do more. Curious Case of Benjamin Button, still a beautiful, well-acted movie, even though, I think some complaints later on. And I wrote Doubt twice, so I'm sure there's another movie I wanted to talk about, but I like Doubt so much, evidently, I put it in there twice. Let's jump over to my number 10 here. My number 10, there's actually, not that I don't try to cloud too much with superhero films on my list here, but there's a couple I'm going to talk about. The first one, though, is one that I think is, I don't know if it's underrated, but I loved it so much more than the first. Not that the first one's bad, that I always like to try to sing its praises. Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. Guillermo del Toro, I just thought this thing was beautiful. There's so much fun character work here, both story and of course makeup wise as well here, going on more for practical than just all the CGI battle scenes here. And it really does make you care, I think, about these characters here. And it's a wacky story that it can only be told and handled by these people here. It really upsets me that we never got a third one from Del Toro with Ron Perlman, that instead what we got is what we got a couple of years back here. So
I enjoyed that one.
Oh, you can watch that in Tom and Jerry on a loop because you are alone, my friend here. I just thought he's so good at world building here, like you saw with Pan's Labyrinth and whatnot. And this is the great mix of, hey, if that Pan's Labyrinth is a little too slow sometimes, well, here's some action, some jokes, as well as beautiful story and everything to go with it. And you can see where Lady in the Water came from.
Absolutely. I will be talking about that shortly, I think. Because here are my honorable mentions, though, for 2008. Documentary made the list. It Might Get Loud with The Edge. And who else? Who was the kids out of that other band? Oh, that one band. I can't remember. It's just a great music. It's a great thing about music and guitar playing, a grinning and a picking. I can't remember names off the top of my head right away, but I do remember it, and it did lodge in there. Frost. Yeah, Jack White, thank you. From this White Stripes. Thank you. Because actually the very beginning of this film is basically they show him and he breaks open like a Coke bottle and he puts together like this battery operated guitar that it's just out of cheap wood, and it's just a piece of wood, a few pieces of string on it with a nail nailed into it, and it just is. He makes it sound like $1 million. And it's just these guys get together, they talk about it, they jam about it, talk about their favorite guitar. Jimmy Page is in there as well. So it's just a great thing if you love guitar, just playing and just to learn a little bit about it. This is the one to watch it. The next one I have on my honorable mentions. Frost Nixon made it. Wall-E made it. Justice League: The New Frontier of DC Animation. And Sunshine Cleaning made the list. And my number 10, I told you I'd be talking about it shortly. I think you looked at my list. Hellboy 2.
Oh, wow. Good enough.
Yeah. Hellboy 2. You said everything about that movie that I want to say about it. I just love it. It's better than number 1. It's one of those rare times that the sequel is better than the first. And like you said, you really did care about how this character develops, and where and I think at the end when he's at the fire, I believe is it I believe at the end where he's like at the end where he puts his hand out, and you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen here? What's gonna happen here? But yeah, to me, I just thought does a great job, and I like I said, I'm one of the very few that likes the reboot, but very, very few, by the way. But I enjoyed it, and I just love Guillermo del Toro's. Just look at the way he just makes things, the universe look. I mean, it's just so beautiful, and even his creatures are beautiful. So, this is number 10 on my list. Hellboy 2: The Golden Army.
Very nice, very nice. I just want to backtrack just a tiny bit. Rock and Rolla is my other honorable mention, so I just wanted to throw some love to that Guy Ritchie film. Toby Kebbell's great in that. So coming up next, we're going to the world of comedy. One of my favorite comedies from the last 20 years now. It's crazy that I gotta say 20 years, not even 10 years. I feel old. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Jason Segel, Mila Kunis, Kristen Bell. This thing, it holds up, you know what I mean? If you haven't seen it in a while, you can still very much throw it on today and still fall in love with it here. Very easy to just, Jason Segel and, Kristen Bell, hey, they're in love, but they broke up, and he's trying to get over it, and unfortunately he lands on the same island as Russell Brand, who got his own spinoff because he's so damn funny in this. This set up a whole career for him to play that same character over and over again to a large degree. Bill Hader, as the brother or friend, whatever he is, he's great in this here. Little side things with Paul Rudd as the surf instructor and Jonah Hill's cameo, even though he's a completely different character in the spinoff. But that's fine because he's funny in this. And you really fall in love with him and Mila Kunis. Mila Kunis, who this was the first time where I knew one day I would get her. Ashton, just you wait. So yeah, I love it. Still to this day, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, my number 9.
We'll be talking about that one a little later down on my list, I believe.
Is it right now?
No, it's not. My number 9, it is a comedy, though. I go comedy almost in this list, but it's a comedy I enjoy. We only got to see a little bit of The Rock in this one, a couple times here and there, but we know what we're talking about. The Get Smart movie with Steve Carell.
Wow.
I think, to me, it was just funny. It was just a great take on it. And you have Anne Hathaway, I believe, is the female. I'm coming off my memory here. I'm not doing great with that tonight, but I just thought it was just fun. It was a
great off the dome from my list.
But it's but yeah, it was just a fun film, a great take on the old Get Smart show that I've actually saw on Nickelodeon back in the day, and it's just Carell, you could see, could lead a great show. He was he could lead as an actor in this one. I think this really, I know he's had other ones before this, I believe, but was it Dan in Real Life was before this or after this? I'm not sure.
Maybe right before.
Right before. But yeah, I just thought, you could see something in Steve Carell to make you, like him as this character. And we were supposed to Get Smart too, I thought, but that was never, I always thought that was in the works, but it's never come to fruition. So, but yeah, I take this, that you got to see a little bit of The Rock as well, as comedic chops, and of course, Terry Crews, there he is. But yeah, I just thought it was good. We got Get Smart 2 with the two side characters though, I believe, and that was an awful movie. So yeah, that's not the sequel we wanted. That's the one we got. So yeah, watch this one. Steve Carell playing Get Smart.
I want to talk to you about things. I got 2 things I got to talk about this movie. I'm not with you on this. This is not a top 10 for me, pretty by far. I like it, but I don't love it anywhere near the top 10. Do you think you like it a little bit more than me because you love the show?
The show, I'll be honest, if you watch the show, is very, very corny. But I did like the premise of the show. He did make me laugh. So yes, I think maybe a little bit of that works over there, but I like the chemistry between Steve Carell and Hathaway in this film. So I thought it just worked well.
And then the other thing I want to talk about is you said I was curious to see if you even knew about the sequel slash spinoff, because it's not really a sequel, because I believe it came out on DVD around the same exact time as the movie. I love that concept. The movie sucked, so maybe that's why more movies haven't done it. But I love that concept of, let's do a side piece to hype the main piece with these little off characters. I love that concept. I would love for someone else to do that.
Yeah, but it just didn't work with these characters. They weren't lovable
because they didn't give them anyone that knew what to do. Like, it was just it was a bad directed DVD movie.
It was like what was that show that Drew Carey used to host, or it was over there in Comedy Central for a little second or two. Whose Line Is It Anyway? It was like a very bad Whose Line Is It Anyway movie. Everybody just go in there and do something. It was just poorly acted, poorly executed all the way through.
Okay. Now, that was a weird comparison to make, but okay. My number 8 here, we're going to get a little more serious here. There's a lot of charming qualities in it, as well as Milk. Josh Brolin, James Franco, but of course it's Sean Penn, the true heart and center of this film. Gus Van Sant, I think some of his best directing too here, in my opinion, in this movie here. Great cast too. There's several more people I can mention as well that are really leading to this story, and of course the heartbreaking ending. Man, your heart sinks. Your heart is lifted at multiple points, and then it sinks at the ultimate conclusion. When you find out what happened to Harvey Milk, it's such an unnecessary way, but I thought it was a beautiful film here. It's one of those films where you don't see Sean Penn, you see Harvey Milk, and number 8, Milk.
Yeah, he didn't make my list, but I could see where you say, you forget that is Sean Penn, and that's sometimes hard to do in some of his roles, but that one,
sometimes Sean Penn is very Sean Penn.
Yeah, Spicoli and Milk, those are his two bookends. We'll say it for me. You know what? The one that you had at your number 9, I have at my number 8, and that's Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I love this movie. I still watch this movie. I don't know why. There's something about this film that draws me, and maybe it's the singing, vampire musical that he has going on in there, and about Van Helsing, and I just love it that he's a CSI musical, the musician for Kristen Bell's series. I just thought it's kind of funny, and he's supposed to do something loving tenderly or something, and it's like, he's breaking down during all this period, and I just love. I think what is it? God never intended a playground to be near a sewer. Do you not remember that scene? What's his name from 30 Rock? Is also in it. Jack McBrayer, where he's on his honeymoon and he's being, basically he sounds like he's just being forced to have sex with his wife on the honeymoon, but I loved it. God never intended a sewer, a playground to be put next door to a sewer system or something like that. It's just a funny line, throwaway line, but it just sunk with me 100%. But yeah, I just, like you said, Mila Kunis in this film, cute as could be. I thought as soon as I saw her in this, I said she can do more than the 70s show, in my future. And she's proved it that she can hold her own with Bad Moms and a few other things here and there. But again, Paul Rudd, you said he's just funny as hell as an instructor for being the surfing. So I thought it was pretty good. Russell Brand, I loved his character as well, and everyone plays their part, and I just enjoyed it so much. So there you go. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, number 8.
Very nice, very nice. My number 7. I don't think you're gonna have this one on your list because I'm a diehard Charlie Kaufman guy. Schenectady, New York, coming in my number 7 here. Only Charlie Kaufman can make something so crazy and convoluted, but yet brilliant and also beautiful. And Philip Seymour Hoffman in the lead role here really hammers it in and brings a little more grounded in this very crazy story of this man making this movie about his life, and there's so much more to it. It's something you need to see more than once. It's long, but it's worth it. It's a crazy trip. You know, Kaufman came out last year with I'm thinking of Ending Things, and I'm thinking I need to rewatch that movie because there's a lot going on in that movie too. Here, the man's got a mind. That's I'm even like convoluted trying to even explain this here, man. But I really thought this was such a unique film that I think needs to be praised more. Schenectady, New York. Have you even seen this, Dutch?
I think I might have started it and then just turned it off.
No.
That's what I do with movies that I don't really appreciate. So you know, I do hang in there for some, and then I don't hang in there for some. I've gotten better as I gotten older to hang in there with films, but that one was probably one that I did watch a little bit and then just, I'm done. The next one, it takes a certain set of skills to sit through this movie more than 1,000 times, but I've done it, my friend. It's with Liam Neeson going after his young daughter, retired CIA agent, in Taken. There you go. I love it. This is one of my favorites. This is why I love Liam Neeson. He was kind of like sitting there trying to figure out what he's up to in life. You know, I'm not talking about the character in Taken. I'm talking about, after Rob Roy and all these other movies that he did. He was sitting there like, I need a movie. I can't remember. What do I do? Oh, I'll play. Let's give this a shot. And so this right here put him back on the map. He made him the biggest commodity in Hollywood as soon as he finished this one. This made his career like reinvigorated. Someone like John Travolta with Pulp Fiction. But Liam has just kept going and getting bigger and better and stronger. I think they've had 3 of these Taken films since this one. They were thinking, well, maybe there could be a 4th. Who knows? There could be a 4th down the line. I hope not, because he's doing some other great works like Cold Pursuit and a whole bunch of others. I just think Liam is great in this film. I love it, and it brought me to a world of, I didn't know that there was such thing as sex trafficking. Does that mean anything to anybody? I mean, because I didn't know that existed until this movie for some reason. Because that's, you don't think about it, but this one actually showed that there is a world of people being sold off into slavery to the highest bidder to be sex slaves or wives to some Saudi prince or something. And it happens to this day, unfortunately, because did you know, on a sad note, Florida is a very big sex trafficking state.
Sadly, I do know that because I was interviewed on the NBC News about it in Fort Myers once.
Yes.
Cameras were at a gas station, and I went up to the guy, and I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Yeah, evidently they were sex trafficking out of this Subway gas station." And he interviewed me. And I made the news talking about sex trafficking in a bright pink shirt. So, yeah, sadly, it happens, man. Like you said, it happened literally in our neck of the woods, which is used for me, which the quote was, "I can't believe this could happen here." Made the news. Well, let's turn now. What we got? My number 6 here. On a slightly more hopeful note here, I believe you mentioned it as an honorable. It makes my number 6 here. I mean, you to talk about just beautiful to look at here, and a story too that doesn't even need much dialogue. You know what I mean? There's some towards the end of it when you find out with some humans, but I mean, the first part of this is just it's a sweet little robot is scrummaging around Earth and has some robot love going on in it here, and it's. Like I said, it ends on a really hopeful note here. It's another beautiful Pixar film. They know what they're doing. This is one of those films that make it to where, the first horrible Pixar movie I'm going to feel really bad for. We've had a couple ones to a degree, which is funny because I would even say the ones are probably still a 3-star movie in my book. But, this is just another sign of why, this comes. Oh, no, that's right. They made Cars. They have made a bad movie. So, but WALL-E's great.
Yeah, Cars was not bad. I think Cars 2 really was just awful.
They all were bad.
Or was it the Tater one goes as a special agent? That might have been a short. I don't know, but either way.
No. That's 2 or 3.
Was that part 2 or 3? Oh, okay.
Totally a full-length thing. Yeah.
I was hoping it was a short. I think everybody else in the theater was hoping it was a short, but I guess it didn't turn out to be that way. My number 6, Catherine Bigelow. opened the door for women in directing, to show that you can be a woman director and win and be good at what you do. And I'm talking about The Hurt Locker. To me, this film, Anthony Mackie, Jeremy Renner, Guy Pearce, Brian Girardi, Ray Fiennes, David Morse. I mean, it's just Evangeline Lilly, just total cast. And it takes us a look at what it's like to be in a bomb squad in Iraq during the height of the I believe it was the first Iraq war that they were talking about, and and you're sitting there and what mentality it goes through, what stress this job entails. And when I believe he goes home, and there's a couple good, powerful scenes about how he can't adjust to the world around him after all this, and it's just Jeremy Renner at his best. And you kind of forget about that because he's played Hawkman and played a little bit of other things that haven't really gelled well. I think the other, but yeah, I just found this film to be such a revelation of how it would be like in war, how you would adjust to yourself in this war, the world. And, to me, this one is just wow. It was just well directed, well filmed, well shot. And, like I said, Wind River, I would say would be Jeremy Renner's next best film, because that's just a great film. So there you go. I'm going to say Hurt Locker at number 7, or was it 6 or 7? 6.
That should be your 6.
Yeah, that is my 6. Yes, that's my number 6, The Hurt Locker.
You just saved me from bringing up a different trailer. So my number 5 is The Hurt Locker. Yeah, legitimately. What you said, man, reiterated here. You mentioned multiple of the cast here, but they're kind of in it just a little bit here. This is Renner and Mackie's film here. They're the middle of this, and kind of Fiennes and other people kind of come in and out. They're the heart and center of this. I've seen both of them in a couple other things, but this is the first time when you're like, okay, these two can be stars. These two can be the meat and bones of a movie here. And like you said, to that very last shot of when you figure out where these two, are going to go maybe a little bit with their lives for the next couple of years, is invigorating. You're sweating. There's a great, beautiful little side thing between Renner and one of the little boys that he kind of befriends here as well. That's a great little subplot. Just really well done, well directed, as you said, by Catherine Bigelow, who would go on to do Zero Dark 30, get kind of in the same vein and get some love for that as well here. So yeah, I'm with you. Well-made film, well worth the, one of those films too, they kind of had that ground support of, it was a smaller film. It was made by a female director on a low budget, and it grew and grew and grew to, an Oscar-nominated film.
Yeah, and don't forget, I believe Anthony Mackie and he's what in the winter? Is he the Winter Soldier show coming out? Or is that Michael B. Jordan? That's Michael B. Jordan. I'm sorry, Michael B. Jordan.
Stop! People are online yelling at you right now.
No, they all do. Everyone yells at me because I get all my actors screwed up. But what do you got?
Let me answer your question, please, instead of interrupting. Is Anthony Mackie in the Falcon and Winter Soldier? Yes, because he's the Falcon.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. See, I get all my actors mixed up. You know that. I can't help it.
I know. Well, you asked the question. I was trying to jump in.
Yeah. Well, see, we got him. We saw him team up again in that film, in the Infinity Wars. In Avengers. Yeah. So that's what I was trying to get at. My bad. My number 5 is Slumdog Millionaire. Who wants to be a millionaire? Slumdog does. This is Dev Patel, one of my favorite actors, one that I think needs to be put in more films. He is coming up with a great summer film later on. We had him just recently in the David Copperfield film, which was just unbelievably good. And it's just basically about a kid who's in Mumbai. He grows up, and he's now on this show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and everything just goes backwards, and you're learning a lot about him as a child and where he's at to today. And it's just a unbelievable, gut-wrenching, unflinching film. I believe Danny Boyle put this together as well, and again from I believe Trainspotting, if I'm not mistaken. Was he Danny Boyle on Trainspotting? So he is a great pedigree of a director. Because Trainspotting, I think he did this next, and it just one of his next films after that. But yeah, I just enjoyed this movie. It was just I think MIA is all you want to do is just boom, zoom, zoom, and a zoom, zoom, or whatever that is show is, whatever it is. But you know what I'm talking about. Bang, 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 the banging song. But yeah, that song is also, was popularized because of this, but by MIA. But yeah, I just found this just a good, simple love story as well. And just a growth of a person. And Dev Patel, oh, I just love him. Like I said, I've watched him from Skins when he was a young teenager. So I'm very proud of his work that he's put together.
Very nice, very nice. Good film. Coming in at my number 4, you shouldn't be surprised for anyone that knows me, big wrestling fan, and one of the best wrestling movies, although it's a sad one to a large degree, is The Wrestler. The thing that reinvigorated Mickey Rourke's career until he killed it again. But he's great in this. His relationship with Evan Rachel Wood, he's just trying to piece together the daughter he left behind, the budding or, kind of, he's really trying to force that relationship with Marissa Tomei. And he's not a horrible man, but he has his demons, he has his past. He's still trying to cling on to that glory of yesteryear, being a former big time pro wrestler who now has to, still do these matches in his, 50s or 60s here. And it's just it's a well made tale. It's Darren Aronofsky really kind of down in the gutter, you know what I mean, here, filmmaking here, it's not fancy, it's straightforward storytelling here. There's that Oscar moment here, he's like, I just don't want you to hate me, tear, it's hard to hate him at that point. And so this is a great background to a little bit into wrestling and the stuff they go through here. I love it. It's one of the reasons he was nominated for an Oscar for hands down, The Wrestler.
Absolutely. I did miss this one on my list, but it is well worth watching. And I enjoyed it. I believe Greg Hammer Valentine was the guy who advised it. I think before that was they approached Mick Foley to do it, if I'm not mistaken. He said that was the biggest Hollywood mistake he ever made, because they wanted him to advise on this film, and he said no. And then Greg Hammer took it over. So that's pretty interesting side note to that film. The next film I love, I watch it at least once, maybe twice a year. I just love these films. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Oh my God, how cute is this film? I just love it. Michael Cera is just the nerdy guy as always. And who is the girl? I can never remember her name. She's the biggest actress that we know today.
Don't tell Mila Kunis, but it's my other future wife, Kat Dennings.
Ah, yes. You can see her right now on WandaVision in the Thor films. Yeah, she is. It's just a great film in which you have two people, one guy who's just pining for the love of someone who just doesn't care for him, and the other one they're both basically the same characters. One's in a rock group, one's not, but at the same time, they're falling for the wrong people when the right people are always right in front of them, and they just they just turn out to I don't know. It's just a great film, great soundtrack. If you like this one, you could also check out other ones that they've done. Not this film personally, but the writer of this film was we talked about the. God, what was the name of that one over on Netflix? They just did that one this year. About the Christmas, the two kids. God, I can't remember. I'm awful again. Well, watch it. I'm thinking Nora's play. I'm just making Nora's, buddy. Making Nora's. It's just a great playlist.
It's not in my list, but I'm not going to disagree with you at all. I was a big fan myself. It's a good film. Really nice to know. Built up love story there between them. So yeah, I like it as well. I'm trying to find out what movie you're talking about.
It was a series over there on Netflix. Same guy who did Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. They did the. I've been reading the books somewhere. So I just forgot what it was all of a sudden. It's no big deal.
So that was a small film. I'm gonna go even smaller for you here. Really, movie not a lot of people saw that year. From the year 2008. Iron Man, starring Robert Downey Jr. Very underseen. No, that's my number three here, man.
My number three too.
There we go. We'll backtrack or keep this steam going here.
Yeah.
The Mac Daddy, the one that started off. I just ordered, by the way, an Iron Man toy of him in the original suit. Anywho, which shows you how much I love this movie. The first one that started off the whole Marvel shebang. If this movie doesn't work, we don't have the other 12 movies that we love. We don't have Endgame where we are crying as to what ends up with Iron Man. We don't have it if this doesn't work. And boy, oh boy, does this work. And it's funny, too, because, like, Jeff Bridges, the villain, he's not really a super memorable villain here, but great origin story here of redemption and of him, the way he gets trapped and, gets out of there and uses his smarts and the starting relationship between him and Gwyneth Paltrow. Super well made. Talk about a guy that revitalized his career and kept on track, unlike Mickey Rourke, Robert Downey Jr. You know what I mean? This made everyone love him. You know what I mean? Terrence Howard, who gets replaced by Don Cheadle.
Yeah, if we didn't have Terrence Howard, we would not have Don Cheadle.
I love it, man. Obviously, you do too. You tell about a little bit.
Yeah, I love this one. This is actually one of the movies. If you really want to look for a product placement, you can. Burger King is a sponsor of this film. A lot. He shows it a couple times. He talks about it a few times. Burger King, that's what all millionaires eat, right? But yeah, you're right. I just like the idea that you have an established baddie, like almost like with Jeff Bridges. It's just basically saying, I've been a part of this family for years, but I'm still an outsider. So, I don't care. I'm doing what I need to do, to push you out and take over what I need to have done. I just thought that was great. Like you said, if this would not have taken off, and I went in with it when I first went to the theater, I still remember saying, if this doesn't work, we're screwed because we're going to just get awful Marvel films for the rest of our lives. And thank God for Jon Favreau. That's all I'm going to say. Jon Favreau is a saint in my book for being able to take this character they said we don't give a crap about and turning him into somebody that everyone cared about, even toward the very, even till this day, for the Infinity Wars, people love Iron Man, where Iron Man was always just a third-class citizen in the world of Marvel. This could have gone
off all their big properties. They're like, who do we got left? Iron Man.
Yeah, and it could have all gone pear-shaped had Sony decided to buy all the rights to Marvel at the time, but they just wanted one man, Spider-Man, and they could have bought them all for like $7 million, and we would have never been here today discussing anything about it because Sony would have been left to their own devices. And this was Marvel Studios' first movie. So that was even better because they wanted to believe in themselves, and they did. And we just got Jon Favreau, like I said, Paul Bettany in there as Jarvis. Everything is just going well with this film, and it just man, it was just unbelievably good, and I am so happy it was a success because I may not like a lot of Marvel. I love Marvel, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, but I may complain a lot about it sometimes. But without this, we wouldn't have had much. And it's a great building block, and what a building block it became.
Very good, my friend. You talked about a film I just talked about. I'm going to talk about now a film you talked about earlier. My number two is Slumdog Millionaire. Danny Boyle. You mentioned Dev Patel. I believe definitely his breakthrough role. One of the first times we were able to meet him. Just a beautiful tale, a very gripping tale here. You go back and forth in time between him at the quiz show to him, as a kid here. Beautiful looking too, so well shot. Danny Boyle really has a vision. Even in movies like Sunshine, that's more vision than story. I still got very gripped by just because I think he's got a knack for vision telling as well. So yeah, man. I mean, you kind of said everything I wanted to say earlier here. Slumdog Millionaire, a movie that if you haven't seen, check it out. I hope the R-rated. I remember there's a fun discussion back in the day because this is the same year as You Don't Mess with the Zohan, and people were joking about how like that's PG-13. You see a grown man's ass, you see like sex with older women, and this is rated R because they curse a couple times. Like I'd rather my 12-year-old watch this, but that's a whole thing. Yeah. But I just always thought that was a fun argument. Slumdog Millionaire coming in my number 2. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is I don't know. It was a tough one to figure out what I wanted for my number 2, and I thought about it, and I thought, you know what I loved? I loved the James Bond films, and Quantum of Solace is one that I did enjoy. A lot of people thought it was one of those, again, not that great to some, but I enjoyed it. I'm very odd with my movies, but I've never really saw a very bad James Bond in a long time. I think the last one was The Living Daylights with Timothy Dalton. That was one that I really would say that's one of my worst ones that I've seen. But again, some Roger Moore as well. But this one I just found just a interesting take about it's very thin. But it's just, I don't know. I just love James Bond. And maybe that's why I put him in there. I just love James Bond. I love Dame Judi Dench. And, the bad guy is not that memorable. But at the same time, I just love the scenery and I love everything about it. So that's why I put it at number 2. I just like James Bond. I always wanted to be James Bond.
You like him a little too much. Here's the funny thing about this movie, actually, is I've always found this movie underrated. I'm with you to a degree. I think there is enough in this to definitely give it a watch and a look. And like, it's not as good as the first one or Skyfall, but it's still, I think, worth checking out for sure. Top 10, I think you're on a James Bond high, my friend.
I'm getting giddy for the new James Bond. Can we get the new James Bond out, please, this year?
I don't know, man. We're never gonna get it. I give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
I don't know what to do anymore. All right, so I'm both excited and scared because I just never know with you. Because if my number 1 is not your number 1, this show's fucking over.
I've been counting on this for years. What do we got?
Number 1 is The Dark Knight, man. Come on, tell me you don't disagree.
Oh, man, let me see here. Hold on. It is The Dark Knight. It is. Right. So there you go, my good man.
We'll get to episode 80 good, because, I mean, as much as I love Iron Man here, The Dark Knight is one of the most, if not the most, complete action film out there. You have your juiciest of awesomest villains, the Joker, played by Heath Ledger. On paper, I mean, you talk about people doubting Keenan or Affleck or all those other actors in the past for certain roles. No one really thought the, First Night, 10 Things I Hate About You guy as the Joker. We were like, no, not we. But like, everyone was like, no, Jack Nicholson, or he's not gonna be able to be right. And he won the freaking Oscar. And obviously there's the argument of whether or not he would have. Normally, he definitely would have at least deserved it if he didn't. Christian Bale as the great straight man of the series here. You got great side stuff. You got the emotional impact with him and Maggie Gyllenhaal, Rachel, and setting up stuff with Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face. And again, just like an A-list cast. If you don't even know it's a superhero film, you can just look and go, oh, Morgan Freeman or Michael Caine and Gary Oldman is fantastic. Here, Cillian Murphy comes back for a small part as Scarecrow. It's one of the most. It's great on the big screen here, man. I remember. I miss packed theaters because it was a packed ass theater and people popping. What happens with the pencil and everything that happens in this? It's got a couple laughs. It's got a couple crazy. What's gonna happen with the ship full of innocent people and then prisoners, and what happens with Tom Tiny Lister, R.I.P. to him, and what he does is really awesome. Just super well made. This proves that I don't care if you hate comic book films. I'm sorry, even Martin Scorsese has got to give this movie a thumbs up. Dark Knight.
This I am just unbelievably wowed about this film. But yeah, what is it? The big quote that Eckhart does. He goes, "You either die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain, and in your own story." And I'm like, what a great line. That is the greatest line anyone could ever pontificate, we'll say, as their character. Harvey Dent saying this as he becomes Two-Face later. I would love to have seen a lot more Two-Face in this film. I would have loved to have seen a lot more of the Joker. Unfortunate circumstances took place where we could not have the Joker ever, as Heath Ledger in the future after this film. But unbelievable, the prison scene where he's in there and he's being interrogated by Batman and he's telling Batman about the way the world is when you take away this and that, and everyone just becomes jackals and and we've seen that almost where we've seen our world, during the early parts of COVID, people fighting over toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? We've seen our system get turned upside down just a little bit, almost not as extreme later probably, but not as extreme. But during that period, there was a lot of social thought process that was going on of like, oh my God, I got to fend for myself, screw everybody else. And all decency went away. To me, there was a great level of depth that was played by Heath Ledger in this film. I love the idea that he had to make a choice, where is he got to go to search for Rachel, that was unbelievably good. You have to make the choice of where you want to look for her. And by the time you find her, you weren't going to have enough time anyway. So, and then that's another thing Bruce has to live with. And, I just find it just unbelievably, probably one of the best Batman out there. And I don't know where you stand on Hardy as Bane, but I thought, to me, that's very yes, I tell you, it's a lot more than that. But but I gotta be honest, I think
Tom and Jerry was not very good. Thank you. You have my permission to die.
Yeah, but I thought Tom Hardy as later on as Bane is very underrated. A lot of people didn't like his character. I thought he played that very underratedly as well. But yeah, Nolan gets so much out of this film, and it's just an unbelievable fun.
That opening sequence too. I just want to say this.
Oh yes,
opening sequence. I mean, if I stumble upon like this on TBS, even if I have no time, I'm watching the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. I am the same, and it's just a great. I saw this in IMAX. This film, this one in IMAX. Then of course I went to watch it in a regular film, area. So yeah, I love this film. I watched it more than once. I've seen it more than probably a half a dozen times. It's just one of those ones that you're always going to get a performance. And unfortunately, this is one of the last ones we ever got to see of Heath Ledger. Won a posthumous supporting actor Academy Award for this part. But yeah, he unfortunately will never be graced with him on screen, but at least he left us this piece of, film history right here as one of the best Jokers out there.
100%, man. Obviously, we agree. Great film, and yeah. Dark Knight.
Okay, so
I hate you.
Yeah, if you haven't, where have you been, you bastards? Anyway, let's do it. Let's do our roundabout top 10. Go over. What are your top 10, buddy, for 2008? Top 10 films.
Top 10 of 2008 includes honorable mentions like Gran Torino, Be Kind, Rewind, Doubt, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Rock and Rolla. Top 10, Hellboy 2, Golden Army. Number 9, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Number 8, Milk. 7, Schenectady, New York. 6, Wall-E. 5, Hurt Locker. 4, The Wrestler. 3, Iron Man. 2, Slumdog Millionaire. And number 1, The Dark Knight.
Yes, my number 10 is Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. Number 9, Get Smart. Number 8, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Number 7, I Have a Certain Set of Skills That's Been Taken. Number 6, The Hurt Locker. Number 5, Slumdog Millionaire. Number 4, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Number 3, Iron Man. Number 2, Quantum of Solace. And number 1, Where is she? Where did you hide, Rachel? the Dark Knight. Anyway, boss, that was a great roundup. I loved it. It just we have a lot of good films in this, and if you've not gotten a chance to get to see any of these, they're well readily available on any platform probably at this point.
Yeah, check them out, man. If there's anything on this list, these are all highly recommended. Like I said, these are a top 10 of the year. And, like I said, I give high recommendations, probably my top, 20, 30, let alone the top 10. So check those out. The year 2008. What random year will we do next? I don't know. If you have any suggestions of random years or top 10s, let us know.
1927. That's random.
Let's 90s and above, please, for me. Or I might have a top 1 or a top 0.
1924. No, 24.
Oh God. All right.
No talkies. No talkies for me, God bless America. I don't want talkies. Just a lot of silly music with a lot of people dancing. Anyway, we're going for that one audience member out there. You know what? You know what's up? This is my favorite part of the show, where you educate me on the doings and goings on in the Hollywood world. Tell me, my friend, what's the breaking news with news and notable stuff brought to you by Jordan Owens?
I like your announcer voice. Good stuff. News and notables of the week. We're going to talk several renews, maybe some cancellations. A lot of stuff about Paramount Plus is ramping up pretty big here, pretty soon here. Maybe even some news about shows that we just talked about. Oh, let's get to it. If you're a fan of the Hulu, we got some returns happening pretty soon. Shrill will return for its final season. 80 Brian from SNL on May 7th. Love Victor is back on June 11th. Not the only show popping up on June 11th. More to come. And Animaniacs has also been renewed as well, so that'll be coming sooner or later. A show that will not be coming back, though, if you're over at the CBS All Access. Oh, no, what is CBS Paramount now? You there, Dutch? You muted. Oh, I lost Dutch. Am I muted? No, I hear me. Technical difficulties. I cannot hear Dutch McAllister.
Now I hear you.
Hey,
You're back.
I hear you.
I think we lost each other.
CBS All Access. Are they Paramount now, or what's the deal there?
Well, CBS All Access will be turning into the Paramount Plus network or something.
There we go. Okay, that's how I was just making sure. But anywho, Twilight Zone will not be coming back. It was not renewed for a third season. Kind of a bummer. I love the concept. There was some that I thought were great, some that I thought were very skippable, but still I thought there was enough good to where I was hoping for a third season. The Lucas brothers, who have been in, they had their own cartoon show for a little bit. They were in 22 Jump Street, are teaming with Judd Apatow for an autobiographical film. I'm a fan of it just based on that. They're funny stand-up comedians, and so far, anytime Apatow's teamed up with somebody, whether it's what's her face, the blonde girl, what's the comedian? I'm forgetting her name now.
Which one?
Sex stuff. Amy Schumer, or more recently with Pete Davidson. He always does pretty good. He always seems to find kind of the meat of their story. And so, hey, I'm down to see this. Spider-Man 3 now has an official name. It'll be Spider-Man No Way Home. So sticking with the home idea, which I didn't even pick up on originally. Homecoming, Far From Home. Now it's No Way Home. That was revealed in a funny little revealed video, how they were making fun of how Tom Holland always gives it away, so they wouldn't tell him what the name is. Speaking of June 11th, that's when we'll see the next Marvel show. Well, I guess not the next Marvel show. Loki is dropping June 11th over at Disney Plus. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, starring Anthony Mackie, Michael B. Jordan, Lawrence Fishburne. I don't know. That's coming up next.
Thanks for taking the heat, buddy.
Louis Gossett Jr.
I think he is the Winter Soldier, isn't he?
Louis Gossett Jr. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Superman and Lois, if you're a fan of the show like I am, don't worry, because season 2 is already been renewed. Evidently, episode 1 did gangbusters, or more than they were hoping for, so season 2 is coming. The San Diego Comic Con. Hey, it's easy to attend this year because it's virtual again. So no tickets being sold for that. No personal stuff here. So here's something I think you're excited about: tossed salad and scrambled eggs, my friend. Frasier revival over at Paramount Plus. So I'm down, man. I hope it doesn't become where it's nothing but revivals, but I do like the idea of, hey, let's just catch up with these characters. 10 years later, you know what I mean? However many years later,
Well, we're gonna have to catch up because Frasier's dad has passed.
Yeah, sadly.
John Mahoney, who, by the way, has a great Funko Pop. If you get it, you should get this one out of all of them because it comes with a cane and he comes with the dog as well, Eddie. So
I am interested.
so I really want that pop when it comes out. But yeah, they haven't said if Niles will be coming back or not. He's
less interested now. No Niles, I'm out.
Well, the reason is they're still trying to negotiate, I guess, at this point. And he's like, well, I don't know about it. Of course, he's like, yeah, twist my arm, I'll come back, David Hyde Pierce. But yeah, we'll see probably what happened in there. And their kid should be about 18 now, almost. So that should bring in a new storyline. So that'll be interesting. There's the pop that is so awesome looking, isn't it? I mean, literally, I might just buy it after the show. There's all three of them right there. You notice how Kelsey Grammer's only like $6, $7 or something like that.
Oh, that is a very cheap, especially for a pre-order. That's weird.
Yeah, he's the cheaper one out of the bunch. Everyone else, we're gonna pay premium for.
Weird. Hey, David Hyde Pierce. You ever seen this movie? It's interesting.
What is it? What movie are we looking at?
The Perfect Host.
No, I've never. What is that?
It's an interesting one. Basically, someone breaks into his house, and then it becomes one of those like he broke into the wrong house. David Hyde Pierce is nuts and having a party with a bunch of people, but they're all in his head. It's pretty fun.
Oh, that's pretty interesting sound. I don't know. Are we going to talk Dungeons and Dragons?
You can. I actually didn't include it. Like they're getting some good cast members, right?
Yeah, they just got Hugh Grant, Sophia Lillis, along with Chris Pine who's already signed. So that's the new Dungeons and Dragons film. Is
Jeremy Irons and Marlon Wayans returning from the year 2000 movie?
You bite your tongue, sir. You bite that hard and you bite it off because that should never have happened. But yeah,
you met the one fan right here.
Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez is also slated again with Justice Smith and Jean Page. Jean Page is also slated to be in that. So I can't wait. It sounds like they're building this cast pretty well. I would love them maybe to do the cartoon version of which these kids get pulled back in time and then they get thrown. You can make them adults if you need to, but they get thrown backwards and they have to understand their powers and come to grips with what's going on. If you haven't watched the original Dungeons and Dragons cartoon that was on Saturday mornings, you have to refresh yourself with that, and that'd be a kick-ass movie to do. So what else you got for me, boss man?
Yeah, I never knew that was the plot. A live-action Halo series is shifting from Showtime to Paramount Plus. It's been a long time that we've talked about Halo movies and TV shows, and we've gotten weird like shorts and cartoons, but I'm waiting for a full-fledged either series or movie finally one day. Here's something that's interesting that I got to talk to you about. A Quiet Place 2 is going to hit theaters September 17th, and Mission Impossible 7 is hitting theaters November 19th. But if you don't want to wait and you have Paramount Plus, it will be on Paramount Plus 45 days later. So you only got to wait less than 2 months before you can just see it in the living room. What's your opinion on that? Are you one that's gonna wait? Are you excited for these films? What you thinking?
I want to watch them in the theater. You and I are jonesing to go back to the theater. Don't get me wrong. I really am. But that'll help though, as well as some of those movies that you don't want to watch in the theater. I know Top Gun's going to do the exact same approach as well. I've heard. So it's just different. I think this is what's going on. I think Bob Chapek over at Disney, the CEO, he's been talking about it as well. There's the very first set, and they're all like friends. They go back into the Dungeons and Dragons ride. if you're watching on YouTube. Yeah, it's a great animated show. And then all of a sudden everything gets thrown back, and you have the dungeon masters. It seems like they got little powers. There's Uni the unicorn, who basically goes through the whole thing. It sounds like a billy goat, but she's Uni the unicorn. And see, the dungeon master gives them the powers that they'll have. He's the coward of the bunch. So it's pretty cool. It's a great cartoon. If you want to go deep dive, watch the Dungeons and Dragons. I guess you can find the whole episode, the first episode. Also in news, if Obi-Wan Kenobi over on Disney Plus. You didn't tell them that Indira Varma is joining the show from Game of Thrones. You might have known her. If you're a big Game of Thrones fan, she's an alumnus from there. She is joining already a stat cast with Hayden Christensen, yes. And, of course, Ben Kenobi, who is, help me out, buddy. I just lost his name.
Ewan McGregor.
Yes, thank you. See, my memory just doesn't work as well as it used to. I'm going to have to get that checked one day. So anyway, what else we got for us?
That was it. That's all I had.
That's all you have? Well, anyway, that's all right. Also, hey, congratulations, Dolly Parton. She got her first vaccination from the vaccine that she helped fund. Yes, her first shot. She actually donated over $1 million for research into this vaccine.
I heard they were very specific though that she had to get it at a certain time. They said, I don't know, between 9 to 5.
Absolutely. That's a good one, buddy. I like that. Anything that you've been doing that we should all know about? Like I've been watching, by the way, the Roku channel. Over there on Roku. If you have a Roku, you have a Roku channel, they call it. I am very happy to announce they finally released second, third, and fourth season of a show that I was watching earlier, Benson. Yes, with Robert Guillaume. And by the way, I laugh my ass off every time I watch it. It's just such a great show. Funny as hell. So that's what I've been doing. We're going to get together one day and make a show about something. I know we're doing a show here, but I thought we were going to talk about a show in the past. We'll get together. We'll talk about that, and we'll do a podcast about a show.
Yeah, I told you it'd be fun to maybe pick a show and do like a side episode every week about that show. I've been doing a weird rewatch of Entourage for no reason. That's what I've been watching. You got Benson, I got Entourage. A lot more homophobic than I remember, so it doesn't always hold up, but it's a lot of fun TV.
It's like watching Friends over again. They're a little homophobic as well in that show.
Are they really?
Yeah, and you would think Chandler would not be as homophobic since his dad is Kathleen Turner. So you would have thought, whatever he always said that his dad was with the pool boy, he would be okay. But he as well as everyone else in that character's arc. I watched all 10 seasons. I just finished that up about a month ago or so. So I watched it over on HBO Max. Yeah, I was told that I should do more with my life with HBO Max than watch that show, but I did. So, anything else? Any plans? Anything you want to plug? Any wrestling events coming up?
Let's see here. RPW in Fort Myers. You can catch us March 20th, not in Fort Myers, in Ave Maria.
Oh,
no,
Ave Maria.
No? It is on Ave Maria. I'm getting all my dates mixed up. March 20th, Ave Maria. Then on April the 9th, we'll be live on Fight TV, as well as Tampa during WrestleMania week. Yeah, you didn't even know that, did you?
You're going to be on Fight TV. Do I have to pay for this?
Yes.
You don't have a code? You don't have a code to give to me and your family?
No, I don't know if that works. I don't know if that's how it works. And then May 20th, we're in Fort Myers again for the Chaos of the Con 3. This time, it's personal.
The first time wasn't personal. This time it's really personal, right?
Well,
Yeah,
Chaos of the Con 1, just one. Chaos of the Con 2 will let you boogaloo, and now it's Chaos of the Con 3. This time it's personal. So, if anyone has any suggestions for Chaos of the Con 4, I'm more than open.
Yeah, Chaos the Con 4. Shut the door.
Anyone besides Dutch has any opinion on Chaos of the Con 4, I am more than open.
You better lock the door. There you go for Chaos 4. This is a lockdown event, buddy. It's all lockdown, you know?
But yes, if you do attend, of course, social distance, wear your mask, be kind, rewind.
Absolutely. And again, it sounds like, if you listen to the news, we're almost over the hump, but again, do your social distancing. Please wear your masks. Don't get complacent, basically. We all are tired. We're all tired of doing this, but we got to keep it up just for a little longer.
This is how I always look at my work day. We're over the long part. Hopefully. We're over the long part. Don't fuck it up now. Just get through that last stretch. And then hopefully end of the year, mid-year, end of the year, this time next year, hopefully we're more or less back to normal where we can go to a movie and not feel paranoid or shitty about it, and vice versa, and all the other activities that you enjoy. We all get there.
We'll all be watching Child's Play 17 in the theater, where my ass is being threatened every time, and George just sits there going
silently, hoping no one looks at me.
And George just looks up saying, "I hope you're enjoying the show." As a lady throws wine all over my face.
We just have to. We have a new rule since that day. No Friday horror. Friday horror.
Well, there were whores there, but they weren't very friendly.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Horrors. Horrors.
Horrors. Horrors. Yes, there's horrors there, too. They wanted to decapitate me at the end of the show. Anyway, I just thank you guys for watching us, letting you into your ear. Don't let Jordan into your ear. He'll just start licking it like he always does. He does. He loves the taste of earwax for some reason. That's just what he likes. He likes it really built up, by the way. So ladies, if you build up your earwax, that man will come in like a roto-rooter and clean it out for you. Anyway, but no, I do appreciate the support that by the way, more people watched this show this week. I was very shocked. It wasn't about the back scratcher either, by the way, because no one ever.
I'm not gonna watch this week because of the way this ended. What was that? What happened? I'm so shocked.
I'm trying to hook you up. I'm trying to hook you up with some crazy.
I'm hooked up if that's what they're into and that's what they're expecting. Please don't hook me up.
Oh brother. Anyway, so I do thank you as always. Next week, 80. We're gonna hit 80, and we'll be talking Coming to America. I know that. Off the top.
America is out Friday. I would imagine we'll have that in the can by next week. I'll be reviewing the new Jay Baruchel directed movie of Random Acts of Violence. Maybe a new Michael Shannon movie, or maybe more. Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah. So join us next time on this great show of shows, a show about shows. I am Dutch McAllister, along with my forever tag team partner, as long as he'll have me, as long as I will have him, Jordan Pierce Owens.
As long as you keep getting those books, brother, those bookings, I'll keep showing up to the events, brother.
I got you there, brother. We'll do it, okay? Except for I don't like crowds. Not anymore.
Maybe next year we'll do another live show with Dizzle and he can ruin the top 10.
Well, once I get my shot, I'll be fine. I'll even take the Johnson & Johnson shot.
Be kind, rewind, and we love you more than you'll ever know.